I know, you're looking at this video right now and you're like, yo, Chibi, you finally did it. You finally didn't forget about Rakugo. Yes, I know, I haven't made a Rakugo video for the past 2 episodes, and as I already said in my live stream I did earlier this week, it's not that I dropped Rakugo, it's just I've been busy on Fridays, haven't had the time to watch it, and I finally got around to watching it early this morning, and I gotta say, I'm actually kind of happy I did not watch it for the past 2 weeks. Now, hear me out, it's not that I dislike Rakugo, in fact, it's because I love Rakugo, and the reason why I'm glad I didn't watch the latest 2 episodes, each week, is because of the content that was in the said episodes. So, the previous episode, like the one where I didn't review the first time, holy shit, when I watched that this morning, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yo, like, fucking Bond just, this man almost died. He tried to commit suicide. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But then, the second episode, it was a very happy feeling, and then that conclusion of the episode, where you assume Bond has died in his sleep. I'm like, what the fuck? So, I'm just like, yo, I'm so glad I did not watch the episode weekly, actually. I'm glad I waited 2 weeks to watch these 2 episodes, because the content in these 2 episodes, holy shit, I would have been just, like, angry to be waiting for the next episode because of the cliffhangers. Because the cliffhangers, holy shit, heinous cliffhangers. Like, that is evil. Like, that's some evil cliffhangers they got for these past 2 episodes. And I'm a little bit mad because of the latest cliffhanger. I want to know what the hell is going to happen. I mean, is Bond just having a dream, or did the man just fucking die in his sleep? I don't have any idea, but yeah. Anyways, though, like I said, I didn't drop Rakugo. I'm here. It just, like I said, I was busy. I'm going to be reviewing it now on a weekly basis. It just, I was busy, and if it does happen again, don't worry, I didn't drop it. I'm not done with the series, I will finish it. I'm already 2 seasons into this series. Seriously, it's not like I'll drop it this far in, jeez. Okay, so anyways, Rakugo, the first episode I missed, okay? I think that's episode 9 of season 2. Okay, that's a dark episode, and I noticed with these 2 episodes, episode 9 and 10, that I missed, hopefully that's the right episode numbers. With these 2 episodes, the first episode, very dark and grim, and then the next episode after that, the latest one that came out, was very happy. It was like, the contrast between these 2 episodes were absolutely insane. So dark, and then so happy, and then it got a little bit kind of sad towards the end, but overall, it was dark and happy, and I'm like, damn, just the way Rakugo could just shift between, like, the different themes of sadness and happiness, I'm like, yo, how can he just do it so well? So, the first episode that I missed, you knew something was going to happen. You sensed it deep down when you're watching the episode, because the overall atmosphere that Bond was giving off while he was performing, when he was doing certain little subtle details throughout the episode, it seemed like he was giving his overall regards to his apprentice, the person that, he looked up to him. It seemed like he was, like, looking over him, seeing if he'd be able to continue to move forward and become a nice, good Rakugo performer, and when he realized he could, he's wanting to give over the fan. He's like, here, give it to him and all that, and when I saw that scene, I'm like, yo, he's straight up acknowledging Yotaro, and he's pretty much saying he's good and all that, and then it's like he's ready to move on. And when you saw that scene when he was performing in the theater, I'm like, oh, he's about to perform Shinigami, he's about to perform that very dark Rakugo. And when he starts to do it, oh my god, how powerful that was. Like, I've said it so many times, like, the way the studio depicts these scenes, like in anime form, it's just, I can't even begin to imagine just how much effort they put into it. Because when you see that scene with the shift of the way the art animation is done, just the way he's talking to himself, the way Bond is sitting there having a convo, he's doing Rakugo, and you just see an empty theater, and you just see the images and stuff that pop up with the flames in the theater, and you're assuming that it's an illusion or something, and you don't think the actual theater's on fire, but as he's talking, and he's just saying, like, the light's gonna go out, like, the Shinigami's like, the light's gonna go out, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. And he's just trying to, he's shaking, trying to put the light on and all that. And we've heard this story before, and it was kind of dark the first time we heard it. But it holds a whole new meaning in this one, because Bon, he's at that point in his life to where he wants to die. Everything is gone. His voice is pretty much gone now. He has no reason to be around anymore, because it's like his whole reason to live is gone, because he can no longer do what he wants to do. His love, which is Rakugo. And when you know how his character is these past couple episodes, and you see how he's performing this, it's like this old man pleading for his life. He doesn't want to die. He wants to continue to move on. And when you see that scene to when he actually looks over and you see this god of performance just pop up and just look at him, and it looks like he's about to die, I'm like, yo, like, that looks so fucking creepy. But the way that is shown, you just understand the feelings he feels. He's like seeing death straight in the face, and he doesn't want to die. And when he's just sitting there looking at Yotaro barging in, he's like, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, and all that. And you just see how his face is kind of burnt and all that. And he's like, I just don't want to die. You see to where he actually does fear death. He doesn't want to die. He doesn't want to commit suicide anymore when he's just yelling for Yotaro like that. And you're like, oh my god, how sad that is, and powerful of a scene, because he's at that point where he doesn't know what to do. And I really love how everything just came crashing down in that moment, how the entire theater was burnt to the ground. It was gone, but he didn't want to give everything up. He didn't want to give up his life. That, holy shit, very powerful scene in that, especially when his old friend popped. Oh my god, when he popped up and you just saw his eyes just go red. Oh, that, oh, it was in the opening again, FYI. I don't know how many people noticed it. I mean, it's been about 2 weeks since the episode came out, but in the opening song, Sukeroku, his eyes turned red once again in the opening song, and I'm like, yo, that's not good. When I first started the episode, and then when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that is just fucking creepy. When he did that, he's just grabbing on to Bon, just like, doing this stuff, and then he turns into the god of performance. I'm like, yo, like, it's oh. So, besides that, let's talk about the other Rakugo performance that was done in the episode. So, it seemed like Bon was able to move past Mio. It seemed like he was finally able to come at peace with Mio, and he moved on. He was able to just move on past her, judging by the way the Rakugo was performed in the prison. When he's looking at Mio, you see her pop up and he sees her, and the way she just evaporates and fades away, it kind of resembled like he was moving on past her. He's finally being able to get rid of her ghost that constantly haunted him, and he was able to press forward. That's kind of what that scene looked like to me, and it was a very good vibe and feeling I got from that scene, but then it led into a darker moment because Sukeroku, he popped up, and then that man, haunting that man still. So, yeah, just a very dark episode, and it really just goes to show you, once again, all the themes that's been going on throughout Rakugo since Season 1, once again popping up in Episode 9. Now, with Episode 10, just how the series likes to fiddle with death, it also messes with life. And I like the example of that. Bon wanted to die. He wants to die. But then, at the end, he wanted to continue living on. He was pleading to continue living on. Not just through his Rakugo performance, but even once the performance was done, he did not want to die. And with Episode 10, the latest one, you see new life. You see how Konatsu is carrying a child within her. And it reflects the themes of the series, the opposite. For instance, death and life. How even though an old generation is coming to an end, a new generation will take its place. It's like the cycle of life. When the elderly die, something new is formed. A new line it comes about. For instance, the next generation. And that's kind of what is happening here. Even though Bon is dying, and he's at the point in his life to where he doesn't want to give it up. He doesn't want to die. But you know how everything is in life. The true dark, gritty part about it is all of us must eventually die. That's just how life is. And he's at that point to where he doesn't want to face that. He doesn't want to accept that when he dies, it's just he's gone. It's over. And he doesn't want to give up his life. And even though he does die also with death comes new life, which is, you know, the next generation. Even once Yotaro, he reaches the point of Bon, someone else will be there to take his place, unless Rakugo fails, but that's for another topic, another day. So even once Yotaro reaches the, you know, the age of Bon, his child, Shin, and then the other child will move and press forward to become Rakugo players and carry on his legacy. So it's that endless cycle, and it's something that all of us must face, and it's a very real depiction when you see Bon having conflict within himself, wanting to die but not wanting to die. It's a very worldly conflict that isn't everyday life people face all the time, and it's very sad when you see the way it's displayed, and it's a very real depiction of it. And I just give my compliments to the animators and the entire staff of, you know, the studio working on Rakugo, and also the voice actors as well, to be able to do such a solid job with all of these themes. So, talking a little bit more in depth with the latest episode, besides just life though, it seems like Bon overall, he's reflecting on his life, and just how, as you're growing with age, you want to look back at your past and what you could have done differently. This is also something many have done with their life. Even I have done it, and I believe many of us have done it in our life. Regardless of age, you've looked back at your past, and you're thinking, I wish I could have done this differently. I wish I could have said this instead of doing this, and that's something all of us do. We all carry that burden within us. We have always, all of us, have done something that we wish we could correct, but we cannot. We have to carry forward. That's just how life is. And Bon, in this episode, he's reflecting on everything that has happened in his life. He's regretting the certain choices and decisions he made. But if there is one thing he does not regret, which makes it a very apparent in the latest episode, is that he does not regret adopting Konatsu, but also he does not regret taking upon the burden of, you know, saying he is the one that killed her parents. That is a very sweet scene. It just goes to show once again how good of a person Bon is. Even though he seems like an asshole old man, he is a good man. Deep down, he's a really good dude. And just to see how he's like, I could not regret when I was around you and all that because children kept my mind off of it. And I'm like, oh, that's very sweet. And it just goes to show you he never regretted her around at all. And the pain that he was carrying because of her, he didn't regret it because he accepted that with open arms because he was doing it for the right reasons. And I respect Bon for that, how he was able to say that. So the episode is kind of like Bon coming with peace. Like he was at peace with himself. He was looking back at what he could change, but also the things that he's glad he didn't change and he went with, especially with Konatsu. And when he also accepts, like, you know, Konatsu to be the apprentice, I'm like, damn, it just goes to show you how he's opening up, but also he is someone that is trying to just come at peace before his life eventually comes to an end. He doesn't want to die, but at the same time, he knows it's going to happen. He's getting that closer and closer to that point to where he needs to, you know, just let go. So, yeah. Very powerful 2 episodes. I just love the contrast between them. The dark parts to the light parts, to life and death, to also how you need to look back and reflect on your past, and then also look forward to the future. I love the way this episode, these latest 2 episodes did that. They honestly, you could not just watch one without the other. What I'm getting at is I feel like these episodes should have honestly been in one episode because of the way they're depicted. And I'm, like I said, glad I waited to, you know, watch these 2 episodes back to back. Because honestly, I wouldn't have noticed the correlation between these themes if I didn't watch them episode after episode. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about the latest episodes of Rakugo? I love y'all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.